The teacher, Mr. William Maloney, was arrested here at the school on Friday. Administrators sent out this letter to parents, but parents say too little, too late. Firefighters say more than a quarter of these units may be damaged due to the fire. There's already more than a half dozen civic groups in the French Quarter. But what makes this one different? Organizers say that they're taking a more peaceful approach to the situation. Stevens was released from this station about a year ago, and an arrest warrant was issued for him in October, but he didn't go to jail until last Friday. While this assault has put many French Quarter musicians on edge, they say they'll be more vigilant when they walk home at night. Police say the robbers lured the man to this house, but when he arrived, they pointed a gun to his face and demanded the money. Most of the businesses here on Harrison Avenue were closed during the storm, except for Reginelli's, who saw an influx of customers.
My stuff was in there! I want to know who did that!
Tenants of a AAA storage facility in Harahan deal with the loss of some valuable possessions.
It was all of my wedding presents, my husband's DVDs, and all of our stuff. We were supposed to be moving into a new place. I can't believe this happened.
Assistant manager of the facility, Erica McMillan, says the fire came as a shock and they have yet to find out how it started.
They just immediately evacuated us. As we came outside, we seen all of the fires just roaring. That's all we seen. We don't even know where it started and where it came from. A very wild day. This was very unexpected, and I just wish everybody the best.
Management says the bright side is that they believe the majority of their renters are covered in some way.
Most of our tenants carry the protection plan that we offer, which is the TPP. For the other ones, that most likely they have renters insurance and they'll be covered.
Firefighters say more than a quarter of these units may be damaged due to the fire. The blaze of the fire caused so much smoke that the Huey P. Long Bridge had to be closed due to driving conditions.
A large amount of smoke due to the wind blowing in that direction. So it was advised that we shut it down for safety reasons.
No word yet on what caused the fire, but the facility says an investigator will be out in the morning. On your side in Harahan, Toi Thornton, WDSU News. Temperatures in New Orleans have been unusually low. This, along with sleet, caused roads and bridges to ice, which kept folks in their homes.
Just trying to stay warm, looking out the window, and I had a little problem with the heater, so I had to call in some help.
And while some dealt with the loss of heat and power outages, amongst other problems, others were able to cozy up for a much-needed day of rest.
It was just a wonderful, relaxing day. I took a nap, I read, I cooked, and baked with my daughter. So
Connie Udall says her neighborhood came together and realized that winter storms are their preferred method of natural disasters.
we all decided last night snow parties are much more fun than hurricane parties. We had a pajama party for the whole neighborhood at Sal's house, and there was gumbo, and Sal was cooking up some of those great P&J oysters and lots of red wine to keep us warm.
But just as conditions had a mixed impact on people, it also had two different effects on the service industry.
I would say it was a little bit slower. We shut down a little bit early, a little more to go at night. I think people were staying in, but all in all, you know, it was quieter than usual. But
most of the businesses here on Harrison Avenue were closed during the storm, except for Reginelli's, who saw an influx of customers. It was business as usual, eating and drinking, buying and selling, and laughing and talking.
Well, I mean, everybody's drinking beer, having a good time. We had a lot of tables that were dining in, relaxing. Nobody wanted to really go outside.
Reginelli's manager, Kat Lantane, says they have their workers at heart, but they decided to open because they knew their customers would need them.
The safety of our employees is obviously number one, but number two, our responsibility is feeding and customer satisfaction. We wanted to make sure that we were feeding all the people who weren't capable of making it to the grocery store and weren't, having food in their fridges, so we decided to stay open.
And after 2 long days of rest, it's back to business for the rest of the city. On your side in Lakeview, Toi Thornton, WDSU News. The dozen civic groups in the makes this one different, taking a more peaceful approach.
The existing voice of of dissent and controversy. We feel that solutions of and has the same goals.
In town and their advocates. They see unity to start.
We felt that there was a gap in the community for a new voice. It's the gap between
a better voice, and with our councilwoman, I don't feel like we're getting out there.
They want to know how the new French Quarter is growing.
Change happens when it happens. So how do you adjust to it? How do you still have a good quality of
That affect the French Quarter are sidewalks and noise. Advocates Brian, if things continue this tourism, which brings revenue.
The flutter of New Orleans, actually, without it, who's coming to New Orleans? One incident from him to say, hey, we got assaulted. I would not, for every one negative 25 people that they talk.
Say they want to unify. In the end, the government and the residents all want
the French place in the world in which to live, and that's what we're all about.
Quarter. Toi Thornton News.
Oh, I was upset, like howling, screaming, like I can't believe they didn't tell me about it.
I was disgusted. I was really disgusted about the situation.
Frustrated and worried, parents of Paul J. Solis Elementary School are tied up in knots about a recent announcement.
I have actually 3 kids that go to that school, so I was very hurt, like concerned, scared for my kids. Like I don't know what was going on.
Parents were informed that an art teacher at Solis had been charged for sexually inappropriate conduct with minors. The teacher, Mr. William Maloney, was arrested here at the school on Friday. Administrators sent out this letter to parents, but parents say too little, too late.
As parents, we should have been notified about it. And Jefferson Parish, they should have been told, they should have been sent some type of letter. Why they wait till the man arrested to send letters and say don't worry about it?
They don't understand how Maloney even stepped foot in an elementary school.
I was really surprised that they actually allowed someone to come into their, into their school system or whatever with that type of background.
In the letter, the school states that the alleged conduct didn't happen at Solis, nor did it involve any current students. In fact, it happened more than 2 decades ago. However, parents say if he did it before, he can do it again.
I don't care if he touched one back in 10 years ago, he still have that feeling, the way I feel.
Since the arrest, the school has suspended Maloney indefinitely. They also encourage parents to talk to their children about their safety while at school. And parents are doing just that.
Any adult touch them, period, they need to tell somebody. Scream, holler, whatever you have to do to get somebody's attention, you need to do it.
On your side, Toi Thornton, WDSU News. Known for his point-blank approach to community issues, radio host Gerard Stevens grasped the attention of many listeners in the city. But his show suddenly came to a halt sometime last year, leaving many to wonder why. According to criminal court documents, Stevens, whose real name is Gerald Neely, is accused of accepting checks from advertisers for radio spots on WBOK. The documents also state that Stevens cashed these checks at a check cashing store. WDSU legal analyst John Fuller says this may or may not help with the investigation.
There's not a great deal of evidence against him unless he's actually on camera at the check cashing place, cashing the checks, or they copied his license or his ID at the time that he allegedly cashed the checks.
Stevens was released from this station about a year ago, and an arrest warrant was issued for him in October, but he didn't go to jail until last Friday.
Sometimes the warrants are issued and you may go years without having any interaction with a police officer. There could be a number of possible reasons why he was able to walk around so long with the warrant out for him.
Stevens turned himself in on April 4th and was booked on charges of forgery and theft of more than $1,500 in alleged crimes involving WBOK revenue. After this, he was released on recognizance.
Well, he has no criminal record, and a lot of times when persons are arrested on nonviolent offenses, a judge will look at their record, take into account the seriousness of the charges, and then deem it permissible to release them on their own recognizance.
Fuller says although these offenses are not that serious, there's a maximum penalty of 10 years in jail on both charges. However, he believes the consequences may not be that serious.
I've never seen a first offender arrested for theft or forgery serve any jail time whatsoever. So in all likelihood, if there is a conviction, he'll receive probation.
WBOK has not yet responded to our request for comments. On your side in Gentilly, Toi Thornton, WDSU News.